Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 56. Good evening, Brady Kuech.
Good evening, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well. It's been incredibly busy here, but got to play some disc golf last night, so all is well with the world. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Like I gotta say, I know that the viewers can't see it, but there is a legend who's sitting in the green room right now, and I am so excited. I'm really excited about tonight's show.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. On tonight's show, then we've got hot scores coming up first up. And then we bring on the former world distance champion and legend of disc golf, Scott Stokely, is going to be joining us. So yeah, we're going to have a chat to him. He stays for Desert Island Disc Golf and the Quickfire, which is going to be good fun. If you've got any questions for Scott, then you can pop them in the comments, and if we see any that we feel that pretty good, then we may well go to them. We've then got an update on the New Zealand power rankings. So we've had some big tournaments recently: Highlander, the Smash, and North Island champs. So with two majors and a tour event, we look at how that's changed the rankings. We also go through our tips for Rotorua this weekend as well. A strong field in both the ladies and the MPO divisions. And then we've also got Jason Mallion, who you may remember won the Discmania 1 in 10 Guess the Correct People competition from the other week. And we've got his live unboxing to finish us off. For anybody tuning in wanting their stats fixed, my apologies. The data analytics team have let me know that they could really do with a couple more weeks, and I've decided that in order to do a proper job, we're gonna grant it to them. So a couple more weeks before that'll be ready, but it's something to certainly look forward to. Anyway, let's get into it. We'll go through hot scores, and we're going to start down south in Invercargill, where Ethan Stout, big news about him, came out earlier on tonight, hits 15 under par. More on that later. At Chingford, it's Cameron Mackey who hits 8 under par. He seems to camp there every week. It's his name every single week. At Brockville, it's Tom McKay, 9 under par at Brockville. So well done to Tom. At the Gardens, familiar face Mikey Yu hits 14 under par, and he also hits 6 under par, tied with Chris Dixon at Tucker Beach to take out the hot scores in Queenstown. Cooper Solis hits 5 under at Ely Point, and Ryan Cambridge is out and about at Lismore, hitting 14 under par. Up to the Garden City in Christchurch, Jelly Park, Jaden Watkinson hits 15 under par at Jelly Park, and he also hits 9 under par at Queen's Park Reserve, along with Willie Taratana. And I know that Willie's round was a birdie on every hole. I suspect that Jaden's was as well. So very well done to them too. And Zach Taylor rounds out the South Island with 4 under par at Brooker Ave. Brody, take us through the north.
In the north, welcome to the capital, right here in Wellington at Berhampore. We have Angus Hines and Nick Panu coming in at -6. Out on the foreshore, Hikoikoi Reserve, Matthew Young coming in at -5. Good round out there. Nice shooting, Matthew. And up at Harcourt Park at the league round this week, I take out the hot round with a -7. Going up to Palmy, let's go to Linkletter Reserve. We have Arthur Graham once again and Ryan Kiddo coming in at -5 this week for Linkletter. Taupo Spa Park, Red Course. We have Steve Lawson coming in at -3, looking good going into Lakeside. Inglewood, where you at, homies? No one played around on UDisc this week out at Inglewood. So come on, champ, where you at? Jason, I hope you'll be out there with your new discs. Maybe you need to have a new box round. Let's go to Rotorua before this week's comp. We got Dane Sales coming in at even. So hopefully there'll be some hotter scores on the weekend. Out in Hastings, Flaxmere Park, Anthony Rogers getting it done in league, coming in at -7. Up to Tauranga, McLaren's Falls, Adam Bolin coming in at +4 with the hot round this week. So it looks like the extreme shows its teeth. Lastly, in the big smoke up in Auckland, Henderson, full 18. Vinnie Wilson takes it out this week with a -3. And in Rosedale, we have Carl Manson coming in at -3 with a hot round. Well done, everyone, this week on playing some good disc golf.
Fantastic. In the 2 sanctioned leagues this week, Brady, you mentioned you took out the Wellington Summer League with a 7 under par, 985 rated round, so well done to you. And this evening, he's only just finished his round. Jaden Watkinson hit a 1008 rated 12 under par, so very well done to Jaden, hot off the heels
Nice,
of
Jaden.
last week's heroics as well. You remember he hit 16 under on the same course. Which was 1039 rated. So he started off that league pretty hot. So well done to Jake. Okay, let's get into it. So our guest tonight needs no introduction, but you know we're going to give him one anyway. He's the former world distance champion, legend of the game, been playing for many years, has done countless tutorials, coaching sessions, lessons, and it's an absolute pleasure to have him on the show. So good evening, Scott Stokely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really excited.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you, and thank you for agreeing to come on and say hello to New Zealand.
Well, you know, our intention this past winter was to spend it in New Zealand. Like that, we had planned on it for a year, but something in the news, I don't know. There was some reason why we couldn't. Can't recall what it is, but our intention is to be in New Zealand for a portion of next winter, depending on things. So I can't wait.
That'll be fantastic. Look forward to that, and hopefully we'll get to meet in person. Now there'll be a lot of people watching this show who are maybe a bit younger, or maybe have only just got into disc golf, who aren't really familiar with the name Scott Stokely or know particularly what you've done or your history. For those people, give us a kind of a potted history of the last few decades.
So first off, pretty much everybody's a bit younger than me, or somewhere between a bit younger and a lot younger. So the short of it is I played my first round of disc golf at the Frisbee golf back then. My first round of Frisbee golf on the world's first permanent Frisbee golf course when it was the only course in the entire world.
Woo!
So I was there for the beginning of that part of the sport's life. The sport that was 1976. The sport had existed before then. They ran it at tournaments. People independently played. But the first course went in the ground, and I was there within a month. So I've been around a long time. I played every single day growing up. I eventually figured out that if I kept discs in my locker at school, my mom would drop me off at school. I would put my books in my locker, take my discs out, go play Frisbee golf all day, come back, put my discs in my locker, grab my books. Mom would pick me up. I'd go home, eat something, go down to the course, play till dark. And I did that for a couple of years before I realized, hey, you can just drop out of school in the 10th grade and play Frisbee all day. And so that's what I did. And that is the early part of my career. It's actually really funny. To this day, parents ask me, how can I best support my kid's disc golf career? And I always say to them, do you want me to answer in front of your kid? For some reason, they always say yes. And I say, well, my best advice is pull them out of school. They're wasting their time. They should play Frisbee all day. Why are you asking me for parenting advice? And by the way, I tried talking my daughter out of college too. I said, you could learn how to surf instead. And she went to college to defy me. But so I played up until I was, throughout my teenage years, had a couple rough teenage years, but came back to the sport and went and toured off and on for 8 years in the 90s. I finished second place at the World Championships twice behind Ken Climo. But over the course of 10 years, won 17 world and national titles in different disc golf and distance events. And then I quit playing for 13 years and had 10 or 11 really good years and then a couple really rough years at the end with personal issues. And that brought me back to the sport, and I've been back ever since. So That's the 50 Cent version. So now I'm back. It
Welcome
has
back, Scott.
6 years.
Fantastic. And so, given all of that time has passed, now I'm hurtling towards 40 at a rate of knots, and I find it difficult. How do you manage to stay match fit, given the fact that your body is getting older? What do you do sort of deliberately to make sure that you're ready for tournaments and you're ready to be able to practice and you're ready to be able to do like the marathon holes that we've seen you? We'll talk a bit about that later, but how do you stay match fit for all of that kind of stuff?
Okay, so for a number of years up until this last 10 months or so, I basically did it by not being overweight. And that's not a knock on being overweight, but the extent of my health was make sure I just am not like I'm thin. I wasn't really worried about my health so much nutritionally. I just was trying to basically be active and don't eat so much. And at 50 years old, that's actually ahead of the curve, right? I mean, I was doing pretty well for my age. But in April, I decided to rejoin the Pro Tour this year. And I spent, I guess, the last 9 months or so on a rigorous diet. I mean, like nutritional, everything you could possibly do, supplements. I'm in the gym 4 days a week, training hard, disc golf strong. So now I'm approaching this like I could be an MMA fighter in terms of how much time and effort I'm putting into the physical part of my body. But just getting stronger and healthier. It's not just about being thin, it's about being strong.
I guess
that's where I'm at.
I guess a lot to be able to cope with those kind of long tournament formats and can take quite the toll on the body. And so having a good core strength and being not necessarily muscular but tough, I guess, is really important.
Well, so here's the thing. Honestly, the competing part's not that hard on the body. It's one round of golf, and longer. It's one round of disc golf. I mean, that's not like in terms of like what it puts on your body. There are many sports that put a lot more on your body. So I don't. I mean, certainly being in good shape is going to help you perform better at any sport. But I don't think that's where the fitness comes in. I think it's more about the training, because in order to perform at the highest level, you have to put the time in. You have to put the reps in. A round of golf is a round of golf. The 750 putts and 300 drives that you're doing, on a Tuesday, that's where your body has to be in shape. So I think the being in shape and being stronger is honestly more important to allow you to train than the actual competition. And of course, being in good shape helps you compete, but it's the training. It's the training where you really need it.
Well, yeah, and I saw recently you posted you were out in the desert in Death Valley, actually, completing your 55,000 foot hole. So 10 miles, basically, right?
Yeah.
So we, like Matt and I are no stranger to, we played 101 holes a day, and you talked about, like 18 holes for a disc golf competition in one day is not so much. How did these long, like 10-mile holes come about? And then 2, how do you go about finding one and then completing it, I guess?
Yeah. So honestly, I just did this for fun. On January 1st, I wanted to ring the new year in doing something fun. And so I thought that I'm 52 years old. It wasn't my birthday, but I'm 52 years old. So I said, I'm just going to go play a 52,000 foot hole. Wow. And it turned out to be about 9.8 miles. And what I had a location where I could set up the basket, and I had 9.8 miles away where I could set up a tee pad where I wasn't crossing private land or, streets with cars and stuff like that. So there was a piece of land where I could do it, which in this case happened to be 9.8 miles along the beach. And so I just played down a beach for 9.8 miles. I mean, it was just something for fun. one of the things that I like to do, if you like my autobiography's out, if you read that, there's a whole lot of this, but I find it important to challenge myself and then create challenges and to do things that are hard, not doing things that I'm going to succeed at automatically, but instead picking things that are challenging that I might fail at, because I always want to know where my limits are. And if you only do things that you're going to succeed at, and then you succeed, you have no way of knowing if maybe you were capable of doing something more. But if you do things you can fail at and you fail, then you see where your line is. Then you know how far you can go and what you can do, right? So I just like putting obstacles in front of myself and trying to overcome them. It keeps me alive. So that was it. So some people, when I did it, it was the first one. It was 52,000 feet. I didn't think it was a world record. I just did it for fun. But everybody started messaging me saying no one's played a longer disc golf hole. And I haven't heard of any longer since. So I'm like, well, I guess that's a world record. I wasn't trying to do that. But when I did that, I came up with this really cool idea, and I want to spread the word on this one. I think it would be really fun, and this is what I posted about, is when someone breaks it, because it's a 9.8 mile hole. You guys can go out next week and break this record. It's not a record that you can't just break. I mean, really. I said, if you're going to break it, go break it by 1,000 feet. That way you break the world record. You guys have a world record, and then someone else can break it and get the world record, and then someone else can break it. And it would just be a fun way that lots of different people can do this. So some players up in Minnesota went and played a 53,000 foot. And and they did it in the snow on a frozen riverbed, which is unbelievably cooler dangerous and harder than what I did. But it was cool, right? And but they kept within the spirit of this thing that I kind of created. And then they broke it. And then I said, well, I'm going to, I want to keep this thing going, so I'm going to go break it. So what can I do that's cool? Well, maybe Death Valley would be cool. It's the most desolate, extreme place in the United States. So I'll throw across Death Valley for 10.5 miles. And I did. And videotaped the whole thing. So the whole, we're going to be putting out a video in a couple days. But the thing is, that record is only going to hold until someone chooses to break it, because it's not that far when it comes down to it. I'm hoping the next person does a 56,000 foot hole, then someone else does 57,000 feet. That's fingers crossed. But if everybody keeps the spirit, it'll be really fun.
Absolutely.
Well, no, and I've having known about you for years. We talked a couple years ago on the phone, and been following you recently. I think it was about 2 years ago when you kind of came back to the sport. You came back with MVP, and you were doing it was blue puzzle pieces, or you were doing the autism support stuff. Is that still going? What happened to that? Can you tell people a little bit about what that was?
Sure. So about 5 years ago, I started running events, disc golf classes around the country for kids and adults with special needs, which is I would go to town and I would teach a class, free, of course. Anyone with any special needs, autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, paraplegic, but it doesn't matter. Just anyone that is just in, I call it adaptive disc golf. Anyone where we need to adapt a game for you. Is you come out to the class, I teach you how to disc golf. You get a shirt and a disc just for coming out.
Awesome.
And participating. I went to 270 cities.
Wow.
Over 2.5 years, and taught these classes. It's along with the book, it's probably the thing I'm most proud of in the sport after all these years, honestly. It was really, really neat. And so I also was extremely broke and poor for a couple years, because this is what I was I would go sleep in a rest area and teach a class the next day. I mean, I'm not complaining. It was the time of my life, but it was after a couple years, I'm I can't keep doing that. And so I ended up took a couple years and made a bunch of money selling software. And then when I decided to take off again because of COVID, I wasn't able to teach these classes. I ended up teaching was away. I taught another 10 classes, but I couldn't teach the classes when I came back. I've taught one since. So what I decided to do, because I wanted to do something for the community, is starting last April, when I compete in tournaments now, I no longer play for prize money. I give the tournament director the name of a local autism or special needs organization, and everything, any of my prize money, they send, like they don't send it to me. They just send my prize money directly to the local autism organization.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, and I did that all last year. It was really fun because, I was playing MP 40 and 50, so I was winning a bunch of these tournaments, and so I was raising some money. And this year on the Pro Tour, same thing. Like any money I win is going to go to a local, like every tournament I'm going to play for a different organization.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's great. That's
it's
great.
Fun. And I'm also going to be teaching classes as well. But so I am going to teach the special needs classes too at the events. They're a little harder to coordinate because of the times we're in. So that may be a little bit hit or miss on the events, but the donations is 100%.
So you've taught thousands, if not tens of thousands of people.
Yes.
You've coached tens of thousands of people. You've played in heaps of tournaments. And I'm starting to get a feeling of what the answer might be. But what's your kind of favorite thing about disc golf out of all the different things that you do? Because you also pump out a hell of a lot of content. There's if you go to the Scott Stokely's YouTube channel, there's videos every day or every other day coming out. It's you're very busy on that side. So I what's your kind of favorite thing to do? Do you really
there's two things. At the end of the day, the people are always going to be the most important thing. My friends, my Frisbee family. There's no doubt that's what means the most to me in the community. But honestly, it's a huge part of what I do is, and this could be so misinterpreted, but a lot of disc golf is also a means to an end for me. I mean, I love it. I love the people, but the most important thing to me is that I live my life free. I go where I want to go. I travel where I want to go. I don't answer to anybody. I'm not in a cubicle. I'm not, hurting my back at work. I'm living a life I want to live. The trade-off for that is I do put out content every day. I do teach these classes. I do I don't work any less hard than anybody else, but it's all on my own terms.
Yeah.
And I don't ask anyone permission to do anything in life. And to me, I need to have that freedom to be happy. When the times I haven't had that, I haven't been happy. Even though I was in a nice house or making a lot of money, at the end of the day, that's not me. Like, so right now, Adriana and I, my girlfriend and I, who I will be traveling with hopefully forever, every single thing we owned that we couldn't take with us, we gave away or threw away. And,
wow.
And we just right now we travel in a Jeep. Like we have now we have a pickup truck towing the Jeep, but we don't even have an RV. We don't have a storage unit. We don't have anything. We have some golf discs, our clothing, a bag with like medicine and some notebooks in it, and that's everything we own. And I would, if at all possible, I never want to live any other way. I just want to go places and do things and have adventures and see new things. And I don't want anything tying me down to that. So disc golf is, as much as I love it, it's also the opportunity for me to do that. Like unless I'm not allowed to for some reason, I will be in New Zealand next winter. There's nothing that's going to stop me. I'm just going to go. I want to go to Patagonia. We're going to go to South America for a month or two, and then New Zealand for a couple months.
Excellent.
That is very important to me that I can just do that.
And I think that's it's a really inspirational kind of message and way to live your life. And it's probably a lot of people watching, myself included, who would be like, yeah, no, actually that sounds sweet. So
here's the thing about it though. I figured out the key to happiness. I'm 52 years old.
Here we go. Hot take.
It took me like 48 yeyears. Okay, so it's not I'm not all high and mighty like I've always had the answers, but I have the answers now. And it's not about living the way I live. Like there are like the majority of people living the way I live would not be happy, or they might be happy for a couple weeks, and then they'd be like, "This, no." The key to happiness is figuring out how you want to live life, and then living the life that you want to live. Well, I mean, it sounds like an obvious answer, right? But I don't think it is, because there are so many people that have they've got the beautiful 3-bedroom house in the suburbs. They got a boat in their driveway. They've got a 401k and they're miserable. And they're not living the life they're supposed to live. But there's also people who are doing the opposite. And they're not happy, because what they really need is a steady job and a 401k and security. So it's not about a one way to live. It's about figuring out the way you're supposed to live. And I think what's important is to step back and toss out every preconceived idea you have that your family's taught you, that your friends have told you, that television's told you, that society's told you, and wipe it from scratch and just get to the core and say, what do I want out of life? And then go after that thing. And it's going to look different for every single person. But if you can figure out what you want and you go after it, I think that's where happiness is. So for me, I don't live like other people, but I live exactly the way I want to live.
Fantastic message.
Sorry, no, and I need to be a little. If that came across preachy, I apologize. But
not at all.
It took me a long time to figure this out, because I was selling software, making a ton of money, and I was like, I had everything, and I'm like, why is this not satisfying to me? And being on the road, being broke in a rest area, teaching a disc golf class makes me a hell of a lot happier than sleeping in a nice bed in a big house in the suburbs. I'll never go back to that.
No, and I mean, I gotta say the same thing. Like you mentioned before about setting big goals, about having a Frisbee family, about living the way that you want. And one of those ways for me is I love hosting people and hosting events. I'm about to here in Wellington. I'm part of the organizational team that's hosting the national championships for New Zealand, and it's coming up in 2 weeks. Like you talked about, it's probably not going to be hard to get you to come out to New Zealand to come play in one of our events or to play our courses. But, what about the Disc Golf Pro Tour? There are a lot of veterans who are coming out, if overseas players want to travel, what is the Disc Golf Pro Tour doing? Or what could we do in New Zealand to kind of lure people to our shores, or out of retirement to come play?
So as far as the touring players, it's going to be tough, because there are tournaments every weekend, and now you're building points to get your tour card, and there's sponsorship bonuses. I think it's tough. I think the best, honestly, if you really wanted to get players out to New Zealand, I think the probably the most effective way would be if there was a team effort and a way of making one big one, like the national championships, right? But making one big, appealing one that doesn't conflict with the stuff over here. But honestly, I would also take the opinion, who the hell cares? Build, you got your own thing, grow your own thing organically. Let the people come that want to be in New Zealand because they want to go to New Zealand. Don't try to you're asking how to get people out. That'll get them out. But at the same time, it's what are you going to do? Raise $75,000 and then spend that on one tournament when you could put 8 courses on the ground? That would be a terrible use of the New Zealand disc golf money just to give money to 6 players. It doesn't. Personally, I would be keep doing what you're doing and let people come organically, and then it'll happen automatically. The bigger you get, it'll just happen.
Excellent. Now you've coached. I'm just going to go back to the coaching, actually, before we join and have a look at some of the questions in the comments. There's been a few come through. You've coached quite a few people. And I've noticed something, and it's something you've actually said in some of your videos, is that you like to coach things that are going to benefit a lot of people, not things that are going to benefit a small percentage of people. So what would you say is like if there was one or two things that everybody, or at least a lot of people, could do to say improve their distance, what would be something, do you find, maybe that you keep saying over and over again in your sessions when you have them with people, that is the kind of the most common error or common thing that people could fix about their form or something else about their game?
Yeah, and that's a really good and common question, and there's not a short answer for it.
Well, go for it.
Well, it's kind of like, that's like almost like the clickbait answer. What's the one? Here's the one tip to make your putting better, right? And it's never just one thing. Well, if there's one thing, it's one thing, but it's an umbrella that includes a lot of things underneath it. It's the fundamentals. It really comes down to doing the same, getting the basics down, and then getting really good at those. There are no other tricks. So the best example I can give is I'm going to go basketball reference, because I don't know enough about rugby to give a metaphor in rugby. But
okay.
I'll give a basketball, but everyone will get the reference. It's basketball. Mm-hmm. So when you're if you play basketball, when you're 6 years old and you start your first basketball league and you're learning how to shoot free throws, the coach for the 6-year-old says, put your feet like this, put your elbow like this, put it at 90 degrees. The other hand guides the ball. You extend forward, flip with your wrist. Mm-hmm. That's what they teach you when you're 6 years old. They do not teach you one other thing in shooting free throws the rest of your career. NBA players do the exact same thing the 6-year-old does. They just did it for 30 years and got great at it. It's no different than disc golf. There is no secret. There is no trick. It is the basic fundamentals of throwing over and over again. So when you get the basics down of how to throw, there's nothing left. There's no higher level of secrets to throw. I mean, there's different types of shots and stuff like that, but fundamentally there's not. Now I will give you one short answer though. So probably one of the most common things is, if I had to pick one, it is you need to plant your foot before you begin moving any part of your body forward. You have to plant first. The foot comes first, then your hips, shoulders, elbow, wrists go forward. But the foot must hit the ground first. If you do that, the disc will snap out of your hand. And the vast majority of players, not good players, but the vast majority of players don't do that. They do more like a baseball swing, like where you can't see me sitting down, but your foot's going as your arms are going. You're kind of like going together. That's not how you throw a golf disc. You throw a golf disc with your foot hits the ground first, boom, then the rest of you comes. So that is the one thing that is probably the most common thing. If I had to give a soundbite answer.
Excellent. Well, thank you. That's a very good tip and answers at least one of the questions in the chat as well.
Actually, when you post a video, I have a video. It's called "What is Snap?" or something about Snap.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the Snap video is where I explain that, and that's so if someone wants to dig a little bit deeper into what I'm talking about, that if you put a link to that, that'll explain that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Scott, do the tattoos help?
Yes.
Yeah. So talk us through that, because Johnny asks, can you how did they come about?
So the way they came about was that I took 13 years off from the sport, and me leaving the sport was not good for me, because that's my base. It's my family. It was my identity. And I stopped playing to raise my daughter, so I didn't leave for bad reasons. But when I got away from the sport, I lost everything except for my daughter and my girlfriend at the time and their family. So I had some trouble. We're going back like 10 years now, but I had a small period of time with substance abuse. And when I came back to the sport, that was because I was re-entering and getting my life back, basically. And so when I got the tattoos on my knuckles, it was I called it my wedding ring to the sport, which was like, I promise you, I'm never going to leave you again. I'm sorry. This is my commitment to you. And it was very important to me that I did it on my hands, because I didn't want it someplace where I could cover it. I wanted it to be the very first thing. When you meet me, I want it to be the first thing you see about me, that I'm a disc golfer. That's who I am. That's the package you're getting. And that's why I did it.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. You mentioned that you're playing on the Pro Tour this year.
Yes.
So what card mates are you most looking forward to playing with on the Pro Tour?
Honestly, I'm most looking forward to playing with all of them. And I don't mean that as a flippant answer. I would like to be able to, I hope I get to play with everybody at least once.
Yeah.
I would hate to, at the end of the tour, be like, oh, I never got to shoot with Ezra, or I never got to shoot with, Paul and Ricky and Eagle. I mean, I've golfed with those guys before at tournaments, but there's so many good new players that I want to get on the card with. So honestly, it's just, I want to play with literally all of them if possible. I'm looking forward to shooting with Calvin. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he looks like a lot of fun, eh?
Boy,
who do you think?
I like dry humor, so he's sharp.
Is there a next Scott Stokely on tour?
Is there what?
Is there a next Scott Stokely on tour?
Yeah, everybody on tour is the next Scott Stokely. No, I would say if there was a next Scott Stokely, it would be I think Simon would be the one that basically is the closest to what I was when I was playing. The distance, the shots, the trick shots, I always joked that Simon's my son, but actually, it's a true story. I even put out a paternity test on Facebook one time that showed that Simon was in fact my son. And when I posted that post, I got a message from Simon's dad that said, he said, "Is there something you need to tell me?" So,
oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you so much for answering our questions there. We're going to go into the next segment of the show, which is Desert Island Disc Golf.
Yes.
Now, for anyone who hasn't seen this part of the show before, the premise is that Scott is stranded on a desert island. There is a disc golf course on this desert island, and he's fortunately been stranded with 3 of his favorite discs and 3 of his favorite card mates. Now, his card mates can be real or fantasy. They can be dead or alive. They can be touring pros or other people that you know. So, Scott, what are you throwing on your desert island?
All right, so I'm going to be putting my Berg from Castle.
Okay, excellent. Have you got one there?
Not in our room, but all out in the car.
Okay. So you're putting with a Berg.
Putting the Berg.
Yep.
So I was thinking about putter mid-range driver, because I have other throwing putters, and I said the Berg I'm picking. I have several different mid-range discs that I'm going to be throwing this year. Tour discs to choose from, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the Waka Waka from RPM.
Yes, we heard a little rumor about this.
Hey, homage, but I'm not just saying that because of. I mean, I love Simon to death and RPM, but I am bagging the Waka Waka this year. I've been hot on that disc for several years. I love that disc.
Yeah.
It has some characteristics that are very unique. So I love that disc, and my long range disc is I'm gonna go in and throw the Enforcer from Dynamic.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Very good. And who would be on your card with you?
All right. So the lame answer would be my girlfriend Adriana, my daughter Gabby, my best friend Randy Lom. Nobody wants to hear that, so we're just gonna assume that all of them were busy and didn't make it onto the boat with me.
they missed the boat. Yeah. Okay.
No, so I get this question, your dream card, all the time, and I try to mix it up so I can mention all my different friends. But so we're gonna go with PDGA number 3, Dan Roddick.
Yes.
Well,
Biggest mentors and heroes of my life. One of the people who has been a father figure to me in my life. I'm gonna go with Jeremy Colling because I'm very good friends with Big Germ. I think the world of him. He's a really good guy. And I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna pick one old school person, and I'm gonna go with Brad Schick, who just won the U.S. Masters Championships. And yeah, Brad's hilarious. He's another just a great guy I've known for a very long time. And I mean, how do you choose, right? I mean,
well, that's right. That's a card of legends right there.
We'll go with those 3. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now we're going to jump into our quick fire round. So the quick fire round split into two sections. The first section is a family-friendly front 9, which is the same 9 questions for every guest every week.
Okay.
And it's nice and easy. And then Brady's got a safari back 9 for you, which is different questions each week for every guest, and it takes the form of a this or that. So here we go. Okay. Question number 1. What's your name?
Scott Stokely.
Where were you born?
Hollywood, California.
Ooh.
Where do you live now?
In my Jeep.
What's your PDGA number?
3,140.
How many years have you been playing?
46.
What's your favorite disc?
My favorite disc?
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's the Berg.
Excellent. And your favorite course?
I have to give 2. The best course the best course I've played is Maple Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna have to give 3. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. I have one favorite. The best course I've played is Maple Hill. There's a course called Caliber in North Idaho, which is a very special private course. My all-time favorite will always be Oak Grove Park, the world's first course, which is where I grew up playing. So that is kind of like, that's almost the one that's the given.
Yeah.
Like it was like what's the greatest day of your life? Well, the birth of my child. You're like, okay, besides that. Like that's kind of what it is. I mean it's like my favorite course will always be Oak Grove, but that's just too easy of an answer. So a Caliber and Maple Hill.
Okay, excellent. Your favorite MPO player?
Oh God. Jeremy or Simon.
Okay. And your favorite FPO player?
God, how about Sarah Hokum or Jennifer Allen or Juliana Korver?
Nice. Excellent. Brady,
Elaine King. She still plays open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't forget Elaine.
Brady, take us through the back 9.
So this is the back 9. This is just a this or that to just try to keep you on your toes. Peanut butter or jelly?
Jelly.
Ketchup or mustard?
Oh God, ketchup.
Super class discs or lightweight discs?
Super class.
Marksman baskets or regular baskets?
Regular baskets.
Regular. Masters Cup or Wintertime Open?
Oh God. I won't choose. I'll say Wintertime Open, but it's close.
Yep. Keeping it on your toes. Let's go. European champion or U.S. champion?
Oh God. I would love to win USDGC. I'm going to go US.
Nice. Win skins at Eagles Crossing or win the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship?
Winning the championship. Winning a tournament will always be, but God, So it's only tough because all of my skins money is being donated. Every skins money I win is going to be donated to Hope for Autism in Missouri. So I want to win the Players Championship, but then a whole bunch of skins also. How about that? That's a plain answer.
Yep, that'll work. We got 2 more. So speaking of winning the USDGC or still having your distance title.
Well, I don't have my distance title anymore. So it would be, so probably winning USDGC because I've already had the distance title.
Okay. And then last one, hole 18, win Worlds or finish the year top of the leaderboard at the Disc Golf Pro Tour points. So the points leader at the end of the year.
Winning Worlds, not even close. Winning Worlds is the #1 goal, period. Not even close.
And there you have it. That is 18 holes of the quick fire round on the Sweet Chain Safari. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Scott, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and great fun. I think it's been one of our favourite guests, and we'll really look forward to seeing you when you come to New Zealand in our winter. Your winter.
Our summer.
I can't wait. No question. You said there were some people wrote in questions.
Yes, we had a few that I put up on the screen. We had here's one. So what par did you get on the 9.9 mile hole? Did you count the strokes?
Yeah, I counted the strokes. It was 1:16:68. The first one. 1:79. Okay, so yeah. I had to check with my statistician.
Data analytics team, you have one too?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, what's really funny about this, I'll tell you a funny story. So I wasn't throwing hard. I wasn't trying to throw hard. I was 9.8 miles, and I wanted to throw. I decided beforehand that I wanted to throw 300 feet per throw, because that's a distance I can kind of throw all day, and it's not really going to hurt my arm. So my plan was to throw 300 feet per throw, and I estimated, I forget whatever I estimated that would be. When I finished and counted the strokes, I was only 2 strokes off of that. So I threw within like a foot of 300 feet per throw, or a foot or two on average. So I was really shocked. I had that dialed in.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, yeah, and kind of following up that, how's the body after your marathon hole?
It's sore, but not bad. I mean, I felt more tired the next day. I had shin splints the next day, which was surprising to me.
They hurt.
My arm didn't feel bad at all. I didn't feel anything, no soreness whatsoever in my arm. It was really important. Like, the tour is about to start. If my arm was hurting or my elbow started hurting, I was quitting. Like, I wasn't. I'm not stupid. I care way more about the tour than that hole. But my arm was fine, and just my legs were sore, but not injured sore. Just like I went for a long hike.
Yeah, 10 miles in Death Valley.
Yeah, well, because I mean, some of it was on the road, but then you also are going to be off in the desert sometimes. I was more sore on the 9.8 mile hole because it was on a beach, and what I didn't account for is that every time first off, walking in the sand is hard.
Yeah, walking on sand.
But every time you step, you're basically having to balance, and my hips started hurting, which would never happen just walking, across a football field for 9.8 miles, or on a treadmill or something. But on sand, it was like, I think the stabilization of my hips, I was totally caught me off guard. But that's the fun of doing hard stuff, is that you don't know what to expect. So it's like, hey,
well, that's true.
No,
absolutely. So Chris Dixon asks, how do you feel about distance records out in the desert? So I think he's talking about where it's like a raging wind of you got 100k wind, and you've got open field, you can throw it where you like, and accuracy is not really a thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So the way it works with the distance record. So I'm actually. I consider myself, in a way, the only person whose opinion matters about this. And the reason I say this is because when they moved the distance out to the desert, I'm the person that had the world record that lost the record to a throw out in the desert. So when it comes down to it, I'm the one who got to go, Jesus. The thing is everything about the event was fair. Everything about the event followed the rules. The tournament director followed the guidelines that had been created by the World Flying Disc Federation to establish a fair competition. It was announced, like, you need to announce it a certain amount of time ahead of time. Like, for instance, you are not allowed to say, oh my God, there's going to be, 100K wins tomorrow. We're going to do a distance tournament. Like, that doesn't count. It had to have been published in advance. So in theory, anyone that wanted to be there could have been there.
Yeah.
And the fact that there were they picked a place where there's going to be good conditions is kind of like what the goal is. So I nothing about it was unfair or unjust. It was legitimate. I think the only thing that is, because the records were set in such extreme conditions, it doesn't truly show how far a person can throw. It's not a gauge of when you see someone out on tour rip one, 640 feet, and then you go, well, yeah, but it's been discs have flown 800 feet in those conditions. You can't even wrap your head around the distance that they threw.
Yeah.
So that's about the only thing that I think kind of took a little bit of the fun out of it, but there was nothing about it unfair. It was fair. And the other thing is the best in the world also set the record. So it's not like some person just showed up there on a weird day and broke the record. It was going to be Simon, or it was going to be Wiggins or Gaysinger, or the right people got the record. So it's cool.
Good stuff. And the final question for tonight is, what's your first event of this season?
Yeah, the Las Vegas Challenge in 9 days. Wait, 8 days.
Wow, 8 days. And that starts on Thursday, I think. Thursday, is that right? It starts Thursday next week?
Yeah, and I'm in Las Vegas right now. I've been playing the courses every day.
Fantastic. Look, Scott, we'll be following you on your progress throughout that tournament and for the rest of the season, especially in the run-up to seeing you in person.
I can't wait to come to Wellington. I heard it doesn't get windy there, so I'll be happy to play some calm conditions.
Don't know where you heard that, but yeah.
I also want to go because I know there's a town north of Wellington called Fuckapapa. And that's how, and I looked it up. I Googled it. That's how it's pronounced, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
So for those people listening, Fuckapapa is the correct pronunciation of the town. And I want to just go there and buy a shirt.
Fantastic. Well, look, I'm as from the people of New Zealand. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
No, thank you guys. A big fan of RPM, big fan of New Zealand. I haven't been there yet, but the entire northern hemisphere is losing its mind right now. I think it's about time for the southern hemisphere to have its century.
I hope so.
From everything it sure looks like that's what's happening. It sounds like New Zealand's doing about as good as anywhere in the world right now. So I'm looking forward to immersing myself in the culture if we're able to. So thank you, everybody. I can't wait to see everybody in a couple of years. It'll be great. I mean at the end of the year.
Yeah. Come on down.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Cheers, Scott. See you soon.
All right. See you. Thank you.
Brady.
Woo.
That was Let's Get Us Right. There we go. Wow. So much wisdom packed into 50 minutes. Well, that's incredible. So yeah, really enjoyed that. And thank you so much, Scott. And hopefully see him next summer.
Yeah, I love his energy. Like that, it was midnight his time, and he's joining us, and he's full of life and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, whatever he's doing, give me a cup of that, because damn, dude, well done. Well done, Scott.
Look, it's going to be one of those interviews that I'm certainly going to go back and watch, and there's plenty of stuff in there. I think there's something for everybody that they can take away. So
plant your foot first, throw second, I think was his number one tip, right?
That's going to be me. I'm going to go out the weekend and practice more of that. So that's fantastic. Right, let's go to in lieu of going through some stats this week, we do have the power rankings, which we'll share now. Now these the comparisons of the power rankings are based on hang on a minute.
Oh, come on, man.
Caller. Yeah, I know. Hang on. Right. Are based the comparisons that you see, the change on these is based on before North Island champs. Okay, so essentially the beginning of the year. And so here we are across the FPO division. To start with, some of the significant moves. We've got Michelle Simpson up one to third place. North Island champ Michelle Simpson doing well and climbing above Gemma Sullivan. Nicola Stout, after winning Heisender and the Smash, moves up 3 places to 5th. Zara McLeod, second at the Smash, moves up 3 places to 9th. And Echo Lee, third at the Smash, moves up 3 places to 15th. So congratulations to all of those. Also, congratulations to Sue Brown, who was the biggest mover of the year so far. She's up 9 places to 26th, following her 3rd place at Heisender and her 6th place at the Smash. So well done to her. And over on the MPO side, Levi, following his victory at Heisender and the Smash, has climbed 1 space above Simon Feasy. I've removed Justin from the league, as you've probably seen, as he's not coming back. However, he is registered for the Champions Cup. So if you are interested in seeing how Justin gets on across stateside, tune into the Champions Cup because he'll be playing in that event. So look forward to that. Dave Keane up 5 places to 4th, following his 2nd place at the Smash. Vincent Wilson climbs up 10 places to 8th. Following his podium finish at North Island Champs. And Tom McKay moves up 18 spots to 10th place, following his 4th place at Heisender and 3rd place at the Smash. Incredible results from Tom down south. Very good week for him there. Hemi's 13 places up to 11th, following his 2nd place at Heislander. And the other big mover in the top 20 there is Isaac Sasanuma Howard, who moves up 29 spots to 18th. Following his 5th place at North Island Champs and 4th place at the Smash. And the biggest mover in MPO was Henry Boyle, who moves up 80 places to 71st, following his 19th place at the Smash. Shot incredibly well and well above his predicted finish. So well done to Henry. Right, so that which leads us on to this weekend and Road to Ruhr. Which takes place at the Scion Tree Nursery this weekend. Brady, your picks for this weekend. What do you think is going to happen? Plenty of talent out there this weekend.
Yeah. Should be good. Sorry, Jacko's on a heater. He's got nationals coming up, so he's going to be hungry. It's going to be like a little warm-up lap for him. So Jaxo is going to be taking it out this weekend. My kind of sleeper pick in second is actually going to be Andy Davey. He performed really well last year. I'm thinking he's going to come in nice and relaxed, so he'll take second. In third place, let's go with Knuckles. Let's go with Mark Dakiv, the Canadian back New Zealand side. He's going to just pip out Simon Feasy in 4th. And then, let's go another Wellington boy. Stan Morris is going to come in 5th. He's always solid on the road. So those are going to be my top 5. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, very similar. I've got Blair Joins in 5th place. The Silent Assassin. I think he'll just play very, very quietly and then beat everyone. So yeah, very, very good. I think 4th place, Mark Dakiv. Yes. And I've got 3rd place, Andy Davey. 2nd place, Simon Feasy, but I can't look past Jackson Sullivan to win this weekend. And it's looking like it's going to be a bit of a Jackson versus Levi at Nationals. Jackson holds the advantage. He's 5-2 over Levi in head-to-heads. And they won one of the last two, each of the last 2 meetings, which was Nationals last year. And then the Smash, Heisender prior to that. So, which is where Levi took out 2nd place. And in the ladies division, what do you have for this weekend?
I'll go the same way again. Michelle Simpson is on form. I don't think you can really look past her for the win. I'm going to go with Flaxmere Dish Shop's own Victoria Speller. She did really well at Fault Line last year, so I think she's going to kind of chew it up And then talk about like rock solid and steady. Let's go with Sweet Chain Zone, Liz Mocha for third place.
Yeah, look, I've got the same top three. Same top
Hey!
three. Yeah. Look, very. It's almost, that's not to say that it's not going to be a very competitive division across both the ladies and the men division. The MPO field, although small, are only 9 players. All of those 9 players, you look and kind of go, they could all, go on a heater at some point and put in a charge. 9 very, very competitive players playing this weekend. It's going to be fantastic to watch and follow. You'll be able to follow it on PDGA Live, and we'll have the results next week. Speaking of next week, there was an announcement earlier on today that Ethan Stout has been picked up by the Discraft Underground team. So well done to him. We will have someone from Discraft Underground, hopefully, on the show next week to potentially to be able to talk us through a little bit more about that particular pickup. But also next week we have the Nationals preview, which will be our hole-by-hole breakdown of the Nationals course, which will be played at Berhampore in just over 2 weeks' time, or about 2 weeks' time almost. The way this will take is we'll have the caddy book. We may have the videos that you made last year for Middle Earth Open, Brady, if they're still relevant, and maybe some pictures as well. But many of you will know what the holes are like. It's the course is broadly similar to the course played at Middle Earth Open last year. So check out the Flexline media coverage of that if you're interested. I'll be taking you through how to get a par on every hole, at least in theory, how to get a par in every hole. That'll shake out at about 920 rated if the weather's good. Brady, you'll be taking us through how to get a birdie on every hole. And if you manage to birdie half of the holes on a good day, if the weather's nice, that will shake out to be about 1,000 rated. So tune in next week to see if you've got any particular holes that you have struggles with, or you have trouble with trying to navigate, or you've never played the course before and you want a little insight into what to expect, then tune in next week. Okay, finally on the show, we've got our very patient guest who's been waiting in the green room all this time.
Yeah.
He won the Discmania 1 in 10 Guess the 4 People competition. So this evening we have Jason Mallion. Good evening, Jason. Hang on a second, I'll pop you there. There we are. How are you?
Good evening, Matt and Brady. Thanks for having me.
Good evening, Jason.
Now, you guessed correctly the 4 people who would be picked, and you guessed at like the 11th hour, I think 20 minutes before the episode went live. So you kind of sniped in there and took the prize. So very well done.
Thank you. Yeah, as I was sitting down for the next episode, I just remembered, I was like, oh shit, I haven't put in my picks yet.
Oh wow! So it was almost it was almost a bit kind of on the fly then. That's great. Now you received a package earlier on this week. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday. It's a very big disc though.
Lovely stuff. Excellent. And we're going to do a live unboxing now to see what you've got. So just whilst you're taking the sellotape off talk us through kind of your experience, because I mean the discs would, if I've got this right, you spoke to Leon about your kind of experience and what you throw currently and that kind of thing, and they've tailored this package to you to an extent.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, so that people can kind of get an idea of what they could expect, or indeed what the kind of player that these discs fit.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't been playing that long. I started in just after the initial lockdown, the first lockdown in 2019. So I've been playing for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Intermediate player level. My go-to drivers that currently are like an Innova turn, so something a bit more flippy that I can get to flip up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Right. What have we got? I do love a mystery box, by the way. I do love a mystery box.
Hey.
Razor Claw 2, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. These are all for sale, by the way. So just pop your name in the cart. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brett Carlisle, buy it now. That's your pink, isn't it?
And this is this a
Iron Samurai.
Iron Samurai, yeah.
Or no, that's the Shogun.
In a
Shogun.
glow plastic, is it?
Yeah.
Shogun's a premium plastic link, I believe.
Got a mutant.
Mutant, lovely. Yeah.
You'll need that for nationals.
Yeah, that will come in useful at Baron Paul.
Method.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good.
10 out of 10 condition, never left the bag.
P2 pattern.
P2, very, very popular. Very popular.
Oh, second layer.
Royal Rage 2.
Ooh,
Is that
Instinct.
Yeah.
Yep. Premium plastic Instinct.
I have.
Is that a PD3?
It's a PD3. Yeah, very good. Wow.
Ooh.
in
Another
a
good
glow.
one for nationals. Good win disc.
Enigma.
Yeah.
Very good.
Don't let Kana have it.
Arctic Fang.
Nice.
Lovely. Yeah.
And the last one, Pink Essence. I better hide this one from my wife.
They're a very popular disc, the Essence. Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
there was a couple other things. There's a chalk bag
Chalk
Yep.
bag,
Oh,
lovely.
nice.
and a bag.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
Very
cool.
good.
Very happy about that. Yeah, very exciting.
Excellent. Excellent. You got a lovely stack of discs there, and something that's for every shop. So we look forward to you throwing those at Nationals. You'll be joining us at Nationals in Wellington in just over about 2 weeks time.
2 weeks time.
Yeah, lovely
Yeah, I'll
stuff.
see you guys
Excellent.
there. I just want to
Fantastic.
say thank you to NZDSS, Leon, Discmania, and Sweet Chains Love. Thanks for hosting the competition.
You're very welcome, and congratulations. May they get you many birdies.
I hope so.
It's like fingers
Good
crossed.
Thank you very much, Jason. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being on the show, and yeah, very good, lovely.
All right. See you guys.
Hey,
Cheers.
Jason.
Excellent. Right, where are we? We're nearly there. There we are. Excellent. Right, okay. So as we said, the show next week is going to be a bit chock-a-block, but look forward to that. We're going to have all of the Nationals holes previewed and downloaded and broken apart, and Brady's going to tell you how to shoot 18 down. I'm going to tell you how to shoot even par. So lovely. That's it from me. So wherever you are, wherever you play disc golf this week, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.